Thanks for your patience, guys. I think I got it fixed. Let's see if I did or not. We'll see. All right, I'm going to set up the poll now. Be right back. Is it better now, you guys? Yeah, I fixed it. It was actually my fault. It was on my end. I forgot this is not through an app like Studio is, so it doesn't save my settings. So every single day I have to reselect my microphone. And on Studio, it keeps my microphone selected, but it was actually going through my MacBook. So whoever just said it sounded like it was on my good mic and then an iPhone mic or something, thank you, because that's what made it click. I was like, wait a minute. I have my mic plugged into my MacBook, but I have to select the source every time. Damn it. So thank you, Ramen. Thank you. Lovely. I did the same thing. I couldn't even get into my own. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the hitchhiker versus the maintenance man versus the rain crow shelter versus the marshlight versus the selkies. And you can vote if you're on TT in the blue corner in the top left-hand corner. You can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it going to be? The hitchhiker, the maintenance man, the rain crow shelter, the marshlight, or the selkies? Rain Grow and Maintenance Man are neck and neck. Who's it gonna be? All right, the winner is the Maintenance Man. Fair warning, this is one of my scariest stories. So just be prepared. Lovely. I know you don't like this story. So I'll be right back. She just thinks it's scary. All right, guys. I will be right back with the tale of the Maintenance Man. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. If you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner? And there's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. That puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing to your friends helps immensely. So thank you guys very much. And I will be right back with the tale of the Maintenance Man. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. Happy Saturday. Thank you for the follow, Lizzie or Izzy. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Kaylee. Nice to see you. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the maintenance man. I've lived in apartment complexes my whole adult life. College years, post-grad limbo, and that weird phase where you think you'll buy a house soon, but you never quite do it. So, by now, I've seen my share of flickering hallway lights, weird neighbors, and overly familiar building managers. But nothing ever prepared me for what happened at Tower Hill Apartments. It started right after I moved in, early March, rainy season in North Carolina. I had been living with a roommate in Durham, but after a bad breakup and a worse job transfer, I took the first one-bedroom I could find. Tower Hill was cheap, had a decent view of a creek, and if you know me, I am obsessed with natural bodies of water. Thank you, Sherry. And it was only 15 minutes from my new office. The only catch was that it was old. And not the charming old that I usually look for. No, this place was just the unmaintained kind of old. The kind of place with water stains on the ceiling, mailboxes that didn't lock, and dumpsters that stayed full no matter how often they got emptied. But affordable rent is hard to find in a short time frame, and I wasn't in a position to be picky. My first interaction with the building's maintenance man was when my kitchen light went out. I'd only been there 4 days. I submitted a work request online like the leasing office told me to, and about an hour later, I heard a knock. He introduced himself as Charlie. Mid-50s, beard that looked like steel wool, and wore a gray shirt with a faded patch that said staff. He didn't talk much, just nodded when I explained the issue and climbed up on my counter, replaced the light bulb with a bulb he pulled from his pocket. And that was the first time I noticed the smell. Something about him reeked like rust and mold, something sharp that I couldn't quite place. But I didn't say anything. He fixed the light, climbed off the counter, nodded at me again, and left. I saw him again 3 days later. I was getting my mail after work and I saw him crouched behind the building, facing away from me. It was getting dark, but I could see that he was messing with something on the wall, prying open a metal grate with what looked like a screwdriver. I called out to him casually like, "Hey, Charlie." But he didn't turn around. He didn't even flinch. He just kept fiddling with the grate like I wasn't even there. Okay, weird, but harmless. Or so I thought. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Crafter Girl. The next night, I was woken up by a sound. A dull thump. Like something hitting my front door. I checked the peephole and there was no one. So I opened the door a crack. Nothing there but a hallway light buzzing and flickering like it always did. But when I looked down, there was a small black object sitting on my doormat. A key. Not my apartment key. It was a long, narrow, old-fashioned looking key. Brass, tarnished, but still shiny enough to catch the light. No note and no explanation. I left it on the kitchen counter and I went back to bed. Unnerved, but too tired at that point to even care. The next morning, I took the key down to the leasing office. The receptionist was new and barely glanced at it before saying it probably belonged to an old unit or a storage shed. She offered to take it. I said I'd hold on to it just in case. That night, my bedroom light turned on by itself. I woke up around 2 a.m. to full brightness, even though I never used the overhead fixture, just the lamp by my bed. I sat up, heart pounding, and I looked around. The door was closed. Nothing out of place. But the light switch had been flipped on, and I live alone. At first, I told myself maybe I bumped it on the way to bed. Maybe I'd been more tired than I thought. But then I noticed something else. My closet door was open. Just a few inches, but I always close the door to my closet. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. By the next morning, I had myself convinced that maybe it was nothing. Maybe the lock didn't catch all the way. But when I went to brush my teeth, I found a single smudge fingerprint on the mirror. Too high to be mine and too wide. I emailed the leasing office again and I told them that I thought someone might have entered my unit. And they said that they'd look into it, but I didn't hold my breath. That Friday, I got home late, around 11:30, and was walking up the stairs when I saw something strange. My apartment door was open, just wide enough to see the corner of my coffee table. I froze. I knew I'd locked it. I'm OCD and I'm a woman who lives alone. I always double check everything. My keys with my mace keychain were in my hand, and my heart started racing, pounding in my throat. I crept up to the door and I pushed it open slowly. Thank you, Sherry. The apartment was dark and quiet, but something was off. The air smelled different, like old wool, stagnant water, and some kind of chemical. My skin started prickling with goosebumps, the kind of instinct that your body tells you something's wrong. I quickly backed out of the apartment, shut the door, and I called the police from my car. They came and did a sweep. Nothing was stolen, nothing was broken. No signs of forced entry. They told me that it was probably a maintenance worker who forgot to lock up after a routine inspection. When I asked what inspection, they didn't have an answer. Then I asked if there was a man named Charlie on the building staff, and they told me there was no one by that name working there. What? I didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep much at all after that for the next week or so. And then the smells started showing up again. I'd walk into the bathroom and I'd catch a whiff of that same moldy coppery scent. I'd come out to my kitchen in the mornings and my dishes would be rearranged. My bedroom blinds would be open slightly when I knew I closed them. Then came the knocking, every night at 3 a.m. Exactly. Just 3 slow knocks on the front door, never less and never more. Thank you, Godzilla. I stopped checking. I just curled under my blankets and I prayed for morning. One night after a particularly bad episode, I drove to my friend Riley's place across town. I told her I needed a few nights away. I didn't tell her the real reason. I just said that I was having plumbing issues and she didn't press it any further. That night at her place, I slept straight through the night. It was amazing. No knocking, no lights turning on, no smells. I stayed for 3 glorious days. Then I finally broke down and told Riley what had been happening, and her jaw dropped. She told me that I was not safe and that I should go grab some things from my apartment and come back and stay with her until we can get this figured out. When I finally went back to my apartment to pick up some clothes and other belongings, I found something pinned to the door with a nail. It was a piece of paper, no envelope, just folded once with my name scrawled in shaky handwriting across the front. Inside was a note that read, "You shouldn't have left. You're not done yet." I opened the door slowly, holding my breath, and the apartment was ice cold and quiet. I stepped inside and I found everything normal. Too normal. The kind of staged normal, like someone had tried to reset the space but didn't quite understand what it looked like before. The books on the shelf were out of order, and the coffee mugs were all turned the same way, and I'm not that perfect. My toothbrush was on the charger when I usually leave it in the shower. And on the table, right in the center, was that key. I left that night. I broke my lease, I paid the penalty, and I didn't care. And I moved in with Riley for good after that. But 2 weeks later, right before my lease technically ended, Riley got curious. She said she was going by the apartment to snoop around one last time and see what she could find. She never came back. They found her car in the parking lot, keys in the ignition. Her purse was in the passenger seat, and her phone had a final photo on it taken at 3 a.m. It was a blurry shot of my old front door, and standing just to the side of the frame was a man. Gray shirt, faded staff patch, half of his face visible and grinning. When the cops checked the apartment again, they found a hidden panel in the back of the bedroom closet. Behind it was a narrow crawl space that led into the walls. Inside were old food wrappers, empty water bottles, and a nest of blankets that reeked of copper and mildew. And in the middle of it all, stuck to the wall with duct tape, was a Polaroid of me asleep. They never found Charlie. And they never found Riley. I moved out of town after that, and I never looked back. And that's the tale of the maintenance man. Thank you, Cats and Coffee. That's so cute. Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep better. I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Welcome to our new listeners on YT and the Tea Witch, which I just started doing 3 days ago. Welcome to the Porch. We've got nearly 500 strong on TT. And yes, TJ, hello. I am reading these live. How are you doing? Welcome to the Porch. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars we've got. Sit back and relax, and welcome. As I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. Yeah, I'm reading them live, and I'm here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Gina, that one and the crawl space, the maintenance man in the crawl space, I think are considered probably my most scary, and the man in the red coat. Kendra, thank you for the hanging lights. Those are beautiful. I am streaming on 3 platforms right now, so if I mention somebody or thank somebody for something that you can't see, I'm sorry. It's probably happening on one of the others, but welcome in. I am new to the multi-streaming, and I appreciate you guys' patience. And oh, thank you, TJ. I appreciate that. Thank you, Michelle. Hello, Renee. Hi, Ness. All right, you guys. Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good day. Christy, thank you for sending your first gift ever, the night star. That's so pretty. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. All right, so grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, watch the shooting stars, and go back to a time when Snick was on and the Midnight Society was hanging out around the fire. And Are You Afraid of the Dark was on, and they were telling the coolest stories. Because as adults, we still get to have that kind of spooky whimsy if it's the last thing I do. So, with that being said, that is my goal. And if you are new here and you liked Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, So Weird, Twilight Zone, you are in the right place. I do write my own stories and record them all myself. And you can listen to them when I'm not live on YT, my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. All right, give me 1 second. And I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote on the next story. Happy Saturday and welcome to the porch, guys. Oh, and if you on TT, if you could do me a big favor, while I'm setting up the next poll, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. And I'll be right back with the next poll. Thanks for being here. Thanks for spending your Saturday with me. Yes, TJ, exactly. That is me. Hi, Kim. Yeah, Lady Rose, we sure did, didn't we? Thank you, Justin. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm trying here. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. Oh, it's under review. Give me 1 second. Of course it is. Hi, Tracy. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready and it's up. It is the hitchhiker versus the boo hag versus the Sasquatch stalker versus the goat man versus the Lake Worth monster. Hi, Diamante. All right, who's it going to be? You can vote in the top left-hand corner if you're on TT. We have the hitchhiker, the boo hag, the Sasquatch stalker, the goat man, and the Lake Worth monster. Lake Worth monster and Sasquatch were neck and neck, and now Sasquatch has just blown him out of the water. Just kidding. Lake Worth came back. The Lake Worth monster came back with a vengeance, and now he's winning. He said, I don't think so, bro. I live in the water. Hi, Angela. Love you. Angela, I'm cross-streaming on 3 platforms tonight again. Yeah, TJ isn't Justin the shit. Justin's like the best. We have the best community. You just stumbled on the best community ever, TJ. We have the coolest, best people. Like, I just love you guys. I love my porch pals. I know, right, Angela? I'm like, whoa. All right, you guys, the Sasquatch stalker is the winner. All right. The one and only Sasquatch. Oh, Mackenzie, thanks. Thanks, James. I will be right back. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock swing in the wind. Sit back and relax. Happy Saturday and welcome to the porch. I will be right back with the tale of the Sasquatch stalker. Thank you, Michelle. You're so sweet. Love you. TJ, thank you for the really cute stay hydrated turtle. Thanks. That's so cute. I've never seen that before. And just thank you so much. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pals Society. This is the tale of the Sasquatch Stalker. You know those moments in life when something happens that you can never fully explain? Something that lingers in the back of your mind no matter how much time passes? This is one of those moments for me. Thank you, TJ, for helping. We're new here. Thank you. It started with a road trip. Not the kind you plan for months. Just the spontaneous middle-of-the-night decision, fueled by restlessness and an old habit of chasing solitude in unfamiliar places. My plan was simple. Head down south away from the city, find a secluded Airbnb where I could clear my head for a few days. I have always been drawn to the quiet of the wilderness, the way it made the world feel smaller, as if I could press pause on everything just for a while. I drove my usual route. I hopped on I-77 South and I just drove. By the time I hit the Blue Ridge Mountains, I was getting a little tired, and I decided it was time to take a break and book a nearby Airbnb. This is a beautiful area to get some rest and relaxation. I found a cute little cabin 2 hours away. I booked it with the host, and then I was back on the road, headed deeper into the mountains now. The drive stretched into the late hours, and it took longer than I had thought it would. And I barely noticed as civilization thinned out behind me. The further I went, the more the road narrowed, twisting through dense trees that loomed taller with every mile. My GPS lost service half an hour before I arrived. But I wasn't worried. The directions were straightforward enough. Just a few turns after passing an old general store that looked like it had been abandoned decades ago. The air was thick with fog when I pulled up. The cabin with its wooden frame was barely visible through the haze. And there was something unsettling about the silence. Almost an unnatural stillness that made me hesitate before stepping out of the car. The cabin was small but well kept, tucked away at the edge of an isolated lake that stretched into darkness. The air was chilly and the trees swayed gently, though I couldn't hear the wind. It was the kind of quiet that was almost unnerving, as if someone or something was watching me just out of sight. I brushed off the feeling. It's probably just the isolation. There were 0 streetlights, not even a dim glow from a surrounding property. I was completely isolated and it was pitch black outside. And the way my headlights cast strange shadows against the trees, I was probably just creeping myself out. Inside, the cabin was cozy enough. Rustic furniture, a fireplace, a cute old record player in the corner. There was no Wi-Fi and no cell service, just a landline on the wall that I never planned on using. I lit a fire, unpacked a few things, and I sat on the couch with the blanket wrapped around me. The quiet should have been comforting, but it was the kind of quiet that gives you a foreboding feeling like something bad is going to happen. That's what it felt like. Something bad was going to happen. And then about 15 minutes later, I heard a loud scream outside in the forest. Not even really a scream, it was more like a high-pitched yowl. You know the sound that Sasquatch supposedly makes? Yeah, it sounded like that. I walked over to the window facing the woods and I peeked out the side of the drapes. But it was just too dark. I couldn't see anything. Neither porch light worked, and there were no driveway lights and no street lights. There wasn't even a dim glow from a neighboring town, light pollution to illuminate the backyard. It was just pitch black night. I barely slept, listening to every creak, every whisper of movement outside. I don't know what woke me, but when my eyes opened, the fire had burned low, and the dim glow cast just enough light to see the outlines of the room. There was a sound outside, faint but distinct. Something moving through the trees. Not the wind, not an animal. Footsteps. My stomach tightened as I sat up, straining to hear. The footsteps were slow and deliberate, circling the cabin. Then they stopped right outside the window, closest to the fireplace. And then I heard the window pane jiggle. Oh my God. Someone was trying to open the window. What do I do? I stayed perfectly still and I didn't move a muscle. And then I heard the footsteps start again, and they were heading toward the back of the cabin. Then I heard the back door handle jiggle. Thank God I checked all the locks before laying down. I froze, barely breathing. My pulse was hammering in my ears. I don't know how long I sat there waiting, but it felt like an eternity. And then I heard the footsteps walk away. And then I heard branches snapping as if someone had walked into the woods behind the house. I lay there in silence, scared to move, thinking about what I should do next. At some point, exhaustion won and I drifted off to sleep. Morning came, and with it a fragile sense of relief. The daylight made the night feel distant and almost unreal. I stepped outside, taking in the fresh mountain air and wrapping my coat tight around me. The ground was undisturbed, no footprints, no sign that anyone had been out there last night. And I told myself it was probably just the trees shifting in the cold and the sounds of the wildlife moving through the night. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone there. I tried to enjoy the day hiking through the woods, taking pictures of the lake. But that unease never left me. Every so often I felt it, that prickling sensation on the back of my neck, the certainty that I was being watched. I kept looking over my shoulder, scanning the trees, but nothing, just silence. That night I locked every door, double-checked the windows, and I kept the fire burning high. I sat in the armchair, fingers gripping my blanket tight. Then, just past midnight, I heard it again. The slow, deliberate footsteps, circling, closer this time. And then I heard wooden boards creak outside under the weight of something heavy stepping onto the front porch. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. And then, a sound I will never forget. A long scraping drag against the wooden door, as if something was scratching a claw against the grain. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I stayed still. The scraping continued, deliberate and slow, and then it stopped. And then there was pure silence, which was somehow even worse. The silence stretched for so long that I thought whatever it was had left, and that it was over. And then the doorknob to the front door twisted. It rattled, harder this time, but the door held, thank goodness. Whatever was on the other side let out a low, guttural sound. And then as suddenly as it started, it stopped. And it was silent again. I sat there shaking until the fire burned down to embers, until the first light of dawn crept through those windows. Only then did I dare to move. And when I finally opened the door, my breath caught in my throat. There on the porch were muddy footprints, and they weren't like any I'd ever seen. They were too long and too wide, almost human, but definitely not. I didn't stay to find out what made them. I didn't even repack my stuff into a suitcase. I just grabbed my stuff in armfuls and I threw my things into a giant pile in the back of my car, and I drove off without stopping. I never found that cabin again. When I went back to find it, the listing had been removed. And the emails I tried to send the host have all bounced back. And the next time I was driving off I-77, I decided to get off and try to find the creepy cabin again. But the directions that I had saved in my phone led me to an empty lot, like it never even existed. But I know what I saw, and I know something was out there. Something that didn't want me there. And that's the tale of the Sasquatch Stalker. All right, welcome in everybody. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, TJ and Justin and Linda. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday, Porch Pals. I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story, but if you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Thank you. Hughes of Tay, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Welcome in. Thank you for the sheep, Maureen. So cute. Mary, you're so funny. Lizzie, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Thank you, Fabian. Welcome in. What about CJ? I love CJ. Thank you, Simone. Welcome in. And if you are new here, my name is Devin. And this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep better. I am here live every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, so you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. If you are a fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, So Weird, Twilight Zone, any of those things, you are in the right place. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock in the back, watch the shooting stars, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. And as I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. Thank you, Candace, for the cute little sheep. Sorry guys, I had a puzzle piece and it always messes with the background. Alright guys, I'm going to set up the next poll to vote for the stories. And I will be right back. Welcome to the porch, everybody. Happy Saturday. Good morning, Steve-O. Jilly Bean, thank you for your first gift. And Misbehaven, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Okay, guys, the poll is ready. Hi, Code Red. You have the hitchhiker versus the overnight delivery versus the Honey Island swamp monster versus the melon heads. You can vote if you're on TT in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. And you can vote up to 50 times a person, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it going to be? We have the hitchhiker, the overnight delivery, the Honey Island swamp monster, and the melon heads. TJ, you're so funny. You said hitchhiker me again, Justin. That's actually my favorite story, TJ. The hitchhiker is. It's my favorite. And again, if you don't get to hear one of the stories you'd like to hear tonight, they are all available on my YT channel under the Bedtime Stories playlist. So feel free to check them out there too. But we get a lot of the same requests every night, so you will end up hearing them the more you join us, because everybody loves the same stories. All right, and the winner is the overnight delivery. And I will be right back. Good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, Hitchhiker did not fare well. Didn't fare as poorly as the Honey Island Swamp Monster, but it only got, how many votes? It only got 84 votes, and the overnight delivery got 441. So, right, TJ. Well, you're in luck because the overnight delivery story is pretty short, so maybe we'll be able to squeeze in both. We'll see. Let's see. All right, you guys, I will be right back with the tale of the overnight delivery driver. Angela Witch comments. Thank you, Sherry, for the cute sheep and the cozy cryptids. I appreciate you. Oh, my comments about the losing story. Sorry, Ange, I had to take a bathroom break for that one. Welcome in, Jessica. Jessica and your twin brother. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pals Society. This is the tale of the overnight delivery. Have you ever had one of those moments where the world doesn't quite feel real? Like the air around you shifts just a little. Just enough that your brain registers that something is off. Even if you can't put your finger on it. That's how it started for me. Just a little feeling creeping at the edges of my awareness, whispering that something was wrong. It happened when I took a job as a private overnight courier. I loved driving, and the money was too good to pass up. Pick up a package and deliver it by morning. Cash under the table. No questions asked. Simple. The first few runs were easy. Meet a man in a suit. Take a locked metal case. Drive 8 hours. Drop it off with another man in a suit. But that night, the night everything changed, started just like all the others. I I picked up the package outside a warehouse in the edge of town. The man who handed it to me was different this time, but his suit looked the same, but he had this off quality about him. My gut told me to walk away, but I had already taken the job. I was committed. The case felt heavier than usual when I set it in my trunk, and something inside it shifted. The drive should have been straightforward. 400 miles through the desert. Straight shot, no stops. But an hour in, I started seeing headlights in my rearview mirror. And at first, I thought nothing of it. Just another traveler, right? But they stayed there, uncomfortably close. Every turn I made, they made. Every acceleration, they matched. My fingers tightened around the wheel. And when I finally built up the nerve to take an unplanned exit, they followed, and panic set in. My heart pounded in my chest as I floored it down an empty side road. The other car sped up too, headlights growing larger in my mirror. And then just as suddenly as they appeared, the lights vanished. No brakes, no turnoff, just gone. The road behind me was empty. I kept driving, nerve shot, trying to convince myself that I had overreacted. But that's when I heard it. Soft, rhythmic tapping. Coming from my trunk. Slow, insistent tapping. I almost pulled over. Almost opened it to see what was inside. But something told me that I wouldn't want to know. Instead, I tightened my grip on the wheel, and I kept driving. I kept my eyes on the road, and I kept pretending I wasn't hearing what I was hearing. An hour later, my radio cut out, static, and a low, garbled voice whispered beneath the hiss. It sounded like a language I didn't know. The tapping in the trunk grew louder and faster and more frantic. "Thank you, Chris." And then, just as my headlights caught the next mile marker, something in my trunk screamed. Not a human scream, not an animal I had ever heard. I slammed the gas pedal to the floor, tearing down the empty highway at 90 miles an hour. I didn't even care about the delivery anymore, I just wanted out. My destination was less than an hour away, and I forced myself to keep going, gripping the wheel so tight, my knuckles went white. And just when I thought I might make it, the trunk lid started to rattle. The lock strained, metal groaned under pressure. Whatever was inside was trying to get out. I made it to the drop-off point, a gas station in the middle of nowhere. And the second my tires skidded to a stop, the trunk burst open. I didn't look. I couldn't. I just threw myself out of the car and I ran for the station's lights. By the time I turned back, the trunk was empty and the case was gone. The man waiting for the delivery stood by the pumps, his expression unreadable. He looked past me into the darkness. He nodded and said, "Good, now it's loose." Then he handed me an envelope of cash, got in his car, and just drove off like that. I don't know what was in my trunk, and I don't know what got out. I didn't ask any questions. But I also never took another overnight delivery job again. And that was the tale of the overnight delivery. All right, you guys, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Dee, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Oh, to share on the For You page, if you guys wouldn't mind, hitting that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. And then there's a little yellow circle that says repost with 2 arrows chasing each other. When you hit that, that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Yes, SJ. And thank you, Sentinelia. All right, you guys, so I'm going to do one extra story since it's Saturday. And we are streaming on 3 places tonight. So I have the poll ready. And we have the hitchhiker, which a few of our friends on YT would like to hear. We also have the Selkies. We have the Puck Wedgies. We have the Melon Heads. And we have the Crawl Space. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There is a blue box if you're on TT. And you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. Yes, Matt, extra story Saturday. Yay. So, I love you, Justin. You're so sweet. So we have the hitchhiker, the Selkies, the Puckwudgies, the Melonheads, and the Crawl Space. And the Selkies can fuck right off because no one even cares. The Selkies aren't getting a vote. Oh, wait, they got one. The Selkies are pissed. All right, y'all, hitchhikers in the lead. This is exciting. Not far behind is the crawl space. Oh, they are neck and neck now, you guys. It's intense. It's intense. They are literally neck and neck. I don't know which one's gonna win. Oh my God. And we did it, TJ. The hitchhiker is the winner. Woo! Thank you, Porch Pals. That's my favorite story too. All right, and if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Emmy. Oh, that's so funny. Also, I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. And for those of you in the UK, I saw someone in the chat in the UK not sure about time zones. I start at 3 in the morning in the UK time. I start at 3 in the morning. Yeah, we did it, TJ. Woo woo! All right, you guys. We've got 550 Porch Pals listening here on TT. And we've got about 20 listening on YT. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Saturday. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back, watch the shooting stars in the sky and relax. And welcome to the porch. And as I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. So if you're enjoying yourself, don't forget to give me a follow so if you fall off the porch, you can find us again. Thank you, Chris, for the money gun. Also, I do premiere a new one of these stories every Monday live on my YT channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you'd like to join us this Monday for the newest story premiere and first listen, come and hang out with us on YT at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I will be back over here on TT as I am every night at 10 p.m. Thank you for the follow, Mama. Thank you for the follow, Nicole. Welcome to the porch. Thank you, Matt. Yes, our community is amazing. The Porch Pals are phenomenal. Never in a million years would I have expected to find such amazing people. And I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you, Tanya, for the cozy cryptids, and just thank you for the cute sheep leaps. I will be right back with the tale of the hitchhiker. Happy Saturday, Porch Pals. Thank you for the hand hearts, Jess. Michael, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Jess, thank you for the beautiful spring sunset. And thank you to everybody tapping the screen tonight. I appreciate the taps. It helps us get sent out. And no, Jade isn't here. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the hitchhiker. By the way, is Misty in here tonight? Does anybody know? Have you guys seen Misty? Because do you guys remember how I mentioned that I love the birthday cake peeps, and I couldn't find any this year. Thank you, Baby Spice, for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Well, hi, Echo. Well, I got a package delivered today from Schmamazon. And why did Misty surprised me and she mailed me an entire box of them. Like a whole bunch. Like a lot of packages of them. Yeah. So I just wanted to thank her, but I know, it's so awesome. I couldn't believe it. I opened it. I was like, what could this be? And then I open it and it's like, and all the note said was, I found them. Love, Misty. And I'm like, oh my God, she's the cutest. Yeah. She's such a real one. So I love you, Misty. I don't think she's here tonight, but thank you, Stacy, for the follow. But she's just the best. I know. I'm so excited to crack one open and munch on it after the live. Because the birthday cake peeps are like, they're elite. They're elite. Peeps are good, but birthday cake peeps are just on another level. They're on another level. Yes, Chomps Afterlife. I know, April, because they're hard to find. Robin, I'll put it in the Discord. I'll put the address in the Discord. That's because they're always sold out immediately, Angela. The birthday cake peeps, they're so good, but they're always gone like right away. No, I never tried the butterbeer ones. I saw that they had like Dr. Pepper ones though, and I was like, no, thanks. What's the link rhyme? Okay, good question. Could one of my mods or someone who knows it, could you guys put the Discord link in the chat of TT, please? I love you guys. Thanks. I barely know how to work Discord. Literally, Tommy Pickles built it for me, and anytime there's an issue, I have to ask him for help. I don't think Dr. Pepper Peeps are for me. I never tried them, but sometimes things are just cross-branding because something's not selling that well, and I feel like that might be one of those instances. But I did try the Rice Krispie Peeps this year, and those are good. You would think, hey, aren't they just marshmallows and marshmallows? No, they actually taste like Rice Krispie treats. They're really good. Yeah, Angela, I don't even know how to use it either. It's like AOL chat rooms, but like you just go to it and then go to the word general, like the general chat, and that's where people talk and share stuff. It's fun, but I still don't really I've gone on whole rants on the live about it before. It's like 1995. Like, why is it designed by someone from 1995? Did I time travel to use Discord? Thank you, Daniel-san. You're the best. I love you. I love you, my porch light. Daniel's my emotional support human, in case you guys didn't know. Yeah, it's literally, it's like so analog. It's so analog. But it's for gamers. It's not for us. So I'm not going to go in and try to change it. I'm just going to adapt to it as best I can because it wasn't even built for us. It's just a nice, handy tool to use because TT doesn't really provide what we need. Yes, London. I'm just not allowed to say it, but yes, exactly that. Oh, Creanie joined. Yay, it notified me. So yes, feel free to join. We share all kinds of fun stuff in there. We share pictures of our pets, our merch. I am obsessed with the merch pictures of you guys wearing the merch. It makes my heart so happy that we all have these like matching little clothes, and I spent a lot of time on the merch. So I'm like really proud of it. If you haven't checked it out yet, feel free to check it out. Link is also in my bio. And I'm going to take a quick swig and then we will be on with the tale of the hitchhiker. Oh, that was you, Lean. Good. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the hitchhiker. Walter, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. I've always enjoyed the solitude of the back roads. The endless winding stretches, the whisper of wind through the trees, and the open spaces offer a calm I could never find in the city. This trip was meant to be a reset, a break from the daily grind. And the idea of driving alone for hours through quiet scenic routes was exactly what I needed. But I couldn't have anticipated what the road had in store for me this time. The drive had been serene so far, passing by fields and forests with no real destination in mind. Just an open map and a willingness to see where the day would take me. I've never liked the pressure of having to get to a specific destination by a certain date or time. I enjoy taking in everything the American road trip has to offer. Taking exits when I see one of those brown signs for some random historical marker. You know the ones. They're my favorite. I've learned so much about this vast country of ours just by slowing down a little bit and paying better attention. to my surroundings instead of my phone. You'd be amazed what you can experience when you make a little bit more effort to be present. It's good for the soul, or at the very least, might make for some good stories. The early part of the trip had been quiet. The only company I had was the occasional crow perched on a road sign or a hawk circling above. After a few hours, I found myself on an isolated stretch of highway, winding through dense trees that seemed to lean closer. And that's when I saw him, a figure, standing alone by an old beaten-up sign that had decades of sun fading. The young man wore dark, simple clothes, a flannel shirt over jeans, and he carried a small, worn duffel bag slung over one shoulder. He had a calm, almost expectant look, as though he had been waiting for someone or something. And against my better judgment, I slowed down, my eyes fixed on him through the windshield. There was just something in his expression, a mixture of hope and resignation that compelled me to pull over. I still can't explain why in the world I let this random man get into the passenger seat of my car, because I know that's crazy, and I've never picked up a hitchhiker before in my life. But all I can say is this: I am someone who can feel other people's energy very well. And his energy was so bright and warm, and I felt like he truly needed my help. Or at the very least, we were meant to cross paths. I could feel it. As he got into the car, I noticed that he carried himself with an air of quiet calm. He settled into the passenger seat without a word, merely offering a polite nod, and we resumed our drive in silence. He gazed out the window with a detached expression, his eyes fixed on the passing trees, as though he was seeing something that I couldn't. As we drove, he began to share tales about the places we passed, almost as though he was narrating them for himself rather than for me. His stories were filled with oddly specific details, recounting local legends and histories of old mining towns and forgotten backwoods communities. And those of you who know me know that this legit sounds like me on road trips. I have always been a huge fan of history, and I have lots of random legends and lore in the archives of my brain, hence me creating Porch lore. So he mentioned ghost towns that had been left behind in disasters, and towns that people abandoned suddenly, where they left everything behind. The descriptions he gave were so vivid, it felt as if I was seeing them for myself. But as I listened, an unsettling feeling began to creep in. His stories seemed so detailed and so intimate, and that sense of familiarity that had comforted me at first now felt like something darker. Like these memories weren't merely heard secondhand, but instead were experiences that he had lived through himself. A chill crawled up my spine as he recounted a particularly eerie tale of a bridge up ahead. He described it in an unsettling level of detail, telling of a man who had been seen wandering the roads for years after his car skidded off the bridge one rainy night. The man had never been found, but local rumors claimed he could still be seen, waiting for a ride that would take him somewhere he could never seem to reach. The weight of his words lingered, pressing down on the air in the car. thickening the silence between us. I felt a compulsion to glance in the rearview mirror as if expecting to see something behind us. But the mirror showed only the road and the blurred outline of trees. I shifted uneasily in my seat, telling myself it was just a story. But the odd familiarity in his voice made me question that. The road wound on, dusk settling in around us. And I noticed that he hadn't asked for any breaks or even taken a drink of water. There was an unnatural stillness to him, like he belonged more to the mist creeping over the road than to the seat beside me. The longer we drove, the more the atmosphere in the car shifted, taking on an oppressive quality that made me want to stop and let him out. Yet, I kept driving, as if compelled by some unseen force. We reached the bridge just as the last of the light faded, and the old iron structure loomed out of the mist, its rusted beams casting long, spindly shadows. The radio, which had been faintly buzzing with static, went silent, and I felt a chill of air settle deep into my bones. As we crossed the bridge, he sat forward slightly, his expression unreadable but strangely intense. The bridge groaned under the car's weight, the iron creaking and straining, and I felt a cold sweat bead on my forehead. The strange, heavy silence in the car seemed to pulse, thickening with each passing second. "Thank you, Michelle." There was a quiet finality to it, as though something was about to end, or perhaps begin. We reached the other side of the bridge, and he turned, gazing out at the fog settling over the road. He stared into my eyes and smiled and said, "Thank you for having an open heart." Then he reached down, lifting his duffel bag, and looked toward a faded roadside marker, barely visible in the twilight. A sense of relief washed over me as he reached for the door handle and he stepped out of the car. His movements were measured and deliberate. And as he stood by the side of the road, he smiled at me one last time, and he waved as a low fog drifted across the road, obscuring him from view for a brief moment. When the mist cleared, he was gone. I blinked, unsure if he had stepped into the fog or if it had simply swallowed him whole. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I found myself gripping the wheel tighter than I had realized. And I sat there for a long moment, staring into the fog over the empty road, waiting for something, though I wasn't sure what. Eventually, I drove off, but I couldn't shake the feeling of his presence lingering like a shadow cast across the passenger seat. The quiet inside the car felt different now, heavier somehow, and I actually kind of missed his company. Days later, when I mentioned the hitchhiker to a local clerk in the next town, he gave me an odd look. He recounted an old story about a young man who had disappeared on that road many years ago. A traveler who had vanished without a trace, last seen hitchhiking near the bridge on a cold autumn night. Locals said that he was still trying to get home, and some people swore they had seen him over the years, his face blank, his bag slung over his shoulder, as he waited for a ride that would take him to where he was going, which was just the other side of the bridge. I I still don't know if he was real, or maybe I toked a little bit too much that night while cruising, but sometimes on those back roads, I catch myself glancing at the passenger seat, half expecting to see him sitting there, waiting silently for the journey to begin again. And to be honest, he wasn't bad company. If I ever see him again, I will absolutely stop and pick him up. He can ride shotgun anytime. And that's the tale of the hitchhiker, which is my favorite story out of my stories. Not like of all time, just my favorite story of mine. All right. And you guys know what time it is? It is grilled cheese time. And if you're new here, you're new to the porch, you might as well make a grilled cheese right now because you will be craving one after you hear this story. Hi, Jade. This story is the story we... Justin said firing up the grill. This story is the one we end the live with every night because it's everybody's favorite. And it was requested so often that people would get really sad if I ended the live without reading it. They'd be like, wait, aren't you going to read the diner story? So finally, I just decided that it would be the last story of the live every night. And it has become a deeply loved tradition. We love these characters. They have their own collection in my merch line. This is a beloved story. So sit back and relax and get ready for the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, watch the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Happy Saturday. It might not be Snick, but the Porch Pal Society is pretty close. And thank you, TJ. I'm glad you liked The Hitchhiker. That sounds good, Andrew. Swiss with mushroom grilled cheese. Yum. I don't like mushrooms, but I like Swiss. Sounds good. That's not weird, Andrew. Most people like mushrooms, I think. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit, trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign, SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering, like it hadn't worked right in years. Thank you, Justin. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Michelle. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping like it echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people? They all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. And not in a rude way, just quiet, like they weren't expecting me. You know when you walk into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish? A waitress, tall with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth and the vinyl creaked. And I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox, and an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corners of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit, not even a flicker. The food came fast, too fast, like under 5 minutes, but it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries, with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten it at a lot of greasy spoons, diners, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff, just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see, just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest, and I turned the knob. Locked, of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside, just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs, no sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half-eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors. Her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless. Like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. "The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in." She raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer, like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. One second I was inside, and the next, I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore, just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch or podcast. I kept glancing in the rear view mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor, the same red booths, the same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And Merlin's at the door. He knows it's time. He knows when he hears that last story, it's time for cuddles. He is over it. He wants to cuddle. Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you, Porch Pals. I love spending my evenings with you guys. And thank you to everybody who listened on the other places tonight, too. I also have added additional merch. I will continue to add cool merch to the site. Check it out, Porch Lord, and then you add a .and store. Even if you don't want to buy anything, I think you guys will just like the jokes and the fun inside jokes and the stuff I've put together. Also, I premiere a new one of these stories every Monday, so get ready. Because this Monday, you guys, we're going to have a new cryptid that's going to be part of the Cryptid Arcana merch line. It's going to get its own tarot card, and it's a weird one. It's a weird one that I think you guys are going to like. So thank you for being here. I love you guys very much. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys get some lovely sleep and some lovely dreams. If not, check out my Bedtime Stories playlist on my YT channel. And as always, stay spooky.